Hello and welcome to Issues of the Moment. On this edition, we take a critical look at the governance journey of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. Since taking office, the government has embarked on bold reforms: removal of fuel subsidy, foreign exchange unification, promises of renewed infrastructure, and efforts in social intervention and security. These policies have triggered mixed reactions. While some hailed them as necessary steps toward national recovery, others raised concerns over the hardship and implementation gaps. One platform that has been tracking these developments from the very beginning is the Citizens Project, an initiative dedicated to monitoring government performance and giving voice to citizens. And joining me to share insights is Dr. Emeka Nwakwo, a public opinion analyst and Southeast coordinator of the Citizens Project. My name is Justin Bemuyi, and I welcome you to the program. Once again, thank you so much for joining us on the program Issues of the Moment. Today, our focus is Tinubu's governance, performance, promises, and the citizens' perspective. And with me is Dr. Emeka Nwakwo. He is a public opinion analyst and the Southeast coordinator of the Citizens Project. Dr. Nwakwo, thank you so much for joining us on Issues of the Moment.
Thank you, my dear brother.
And you're very much welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, we're looking at Tinubu's governance.
Yes.
And in Tinubu's governance, we're looking at the areas of performance, we're looking at the promises, and of course, the citizens' perspective. Now, before we delve into other issues, what inspired the Citizens Project, and how does it function in tracking government performance?
Okay. You know, every story has two sides of it. The Citizens Project is entirely a citizens organization, and that is geared towards non-partisan assessment, documentation, analysis, critical analysis of governance, representing the citizens and assessing what the government has done so far, either in keeping its promises, transparency, and welfare of the citizens. So in Citizens Project, we took up the mandate of trying to assess. First of all, we are doing a flagship project called the Reform Index, because this government came with the word reform. And so we took up a project called the Reform Index, which is a flagship documentation, a flagship publication that has taken time to document, analyze, and present to the citizens what this government has done from day one till today. And we pride to say that at the Citizens Project that we want to make our president the most documented president in Africa. Taking records step by step of what he has done from day one, where he has visited, what he's done, the outcome of the visits. You know, sometimes when the president goes out, people will start shouting, he's always going out. But for what reason is he going out? What are the benefits of those trips? So the Citizens Project, in our own circumstance, we want to say, to whom honor is due, give it to him. Do you understand? We want to engage constructively. In Igbo land, they say, if you look at what you want to say to a fine person, just say, carry your fineness, they go. Just carry your fineness and go. But in this case, we want to give honor to whom honor. You want to do proper documentation, proper recording, proper assessment of what the president has done so far.
Now, with this project in mind, now looking at the development so far,
Yes.
What would you identify as the most notable achievements, of the Tinubu administration?
There is none that I can say is most notable, but there are several achievements of this government that are worthy of note. First of all, let's look at the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. Do you understand? Which is supposed to open up all the avenues, all the businesses around there. In the economy, you see the strengthening of the Naira. You see the single-digit foreign currency. Do you understand? That is today helping this nation to, Fitch has reported that our economy is stable. The Naira is stable today. The Naira is a stable currency. Do you understand? And as of today, you see inflation is also dropping drastically. You can now go to market and buy food stuff. At the beginning, you know, everybody thought it was not going to be possible, but today the government is gradually those reforms. Do you understand? When he started with the issue of removal of fuel subsidy, people were crying because, you know, fuel touches every facet of the economy. But then when that subsidy was removed, the money was taken away from the hands of few and then given to everybody. The local government and the state governments are now getting very jumbo allocations, which when invested in the states, do you understand, will materialize or will sum up to better governance and better provision of infrastructure to the citizens. So today the government is doing a lot. They have done a lot, and the impact is being felt. But one of the most outstanding ones is our local government autonomy, which Mr. President has restored. Before now, you know that there was no local government system. We just had situations where one state governor sits down somewhere, all the allocations come, do you understand? And you go to the rural areas, there's nothing to show for it. But with the bill on local government, or the case in local government autonomy, do you understand, having been won, and funds now going directly to local government accounts. You go to the local governments, our local communities are now bubbling with life. There's revival of governance. People are beginning to feel that there is actually governance that gets to the grassroots.
Now, talking about local government autonomy, that will be, it's a bogus issue to discuss, and that will be a discussion for another day.
Yeah.
Now, just as you rightly mentioned, you know, economic reforms like the subsidy removal that you pointed out and FX unification, you know, have made a major ripple effect, you know, to the people, to the citizens generally. How has the Citizens Project, you know, in some way captured, you know, public perception around these reforms?
Yeah, initially the reforms came with hardship, which everybody knows that once something touches on fuel, do you understand, it has a triple effect down the line. Yeah, it came with those hardships, and people were crying. Some, of course, we are crying wolf because they had taken away food from their mouth. Do you understand? But then what has happened is that because there is more revenue pumped into the system, and rather than the usual process of establishing one bogus organization or one bogus commission, do you understand, that will manage the government has in this case tried to send the money down the line. Sending the excess money, the recoveries from these particular reforms down the line is now creating jobs, creating greater opportunities, creating so when there's construction going on, like they say, when there's construction going on, you know what the effects are. You know, the youths are engaged, every other person is engaged. When the roads are constructed, do you understand, you discover that when the roads are constructed, transport is eased. Transport costs will naturally go down when the roads are good. Today you are talking about monies or student loans. Do you understand? Those are all the rippling effects of those policies. When students can now go to school without being the son of a big man, do you understand? When students can now go to school without being the son of a big man, when people can now access funds without having to come from a particular sector of the society, do you understand? So because there is now funds available for those activities, you now see health centers are working because there are funds around them. So but initially people were crying wolf because of course with the hike there was hike in the price of everything. Today, I can tell you categorically that in Imo State, where I come from, we can buy rice for less than 70,000 from that top, because right now things are beginning to stabilize. Reforms take time to get to the grassroots. Do you understand? And so if you follow them, all you require is being able to follow them rigidly, step by step, making sure that wastages, do you understand, are blocked.
Okay.
So when monies meant for XYZ are used for those particular reasons, do you understand? You see the ripple effects and people come out of them. Right now, the shouts are going down. The cries are going down. By the time people are seeing that the roads are being properly reconstructed, do you understand? The rail lines are working, okay? So those effects will begin to come. Of course, no Nigerian wants the government to come and place food on the table. What they want is creating all those enabling environment to let them do their business. This government has generated the highest level of electricity so far, almost at 6,000 megawatts. And those are where the monies are going, and they are trying to cushion, they are quietly and consistently and sustainably cushioning the effects of those we may call harsh economic policies.
Now, you've talked widely on economy and briefly on the infrastructure when you talked about roads and some other infrastructural developments. Now, let's delve into the issue of security and social welfare.
Okay.
How would you rate the government efforts, compared to previous years when it comes to security and social welfare?
Now, security is a global issue. And what people don't know is that in my place they say it is very easy to give a monkey a cup of water, but it is a lot more difficult to retrieve that cup of water from the monkey. Security, the way it is in this nation, is hydra-headed. Do you understand? There is so much cry for disintegration. People want to control this, people want to control that. But right now, I score this government high because there is engagement with the leaders of the various groups, and you can also say with me that the level of insecurity is going down. The level of insecurity is going down because of consistent efforts of this government to engage, and when the need arises, you understand, to use subtle coercion. So engagement, first of all. Now, most of those people who are there, the amnesty program that was started initially led to, some of the bandits and Boko Haram to drop their arms. In Imo State, there was such thing going on. Do you understand? So what I'm saying is that right now, the government is doing what is humanly possible to ensure that there is security in Nigeria. At least they are doing, and the armed forces, I must give kudos to the armed forces, those who laid down their lives to ensure that our own lives are secured. Right now, you know that in the past 6 months, it was difficult to move from Owerri to, once you're on the road, your heart will be beating. But today, people have resumed night journeys. Night journeys have resumed, which is a testimony to the fact that the security situation is improving.
Now, when we talk about governance and performance, one thing that comes to mind is transparency and accountability. They are key issues.
Sure.
Now, has this administration, has the administration been, in your own view, has the administration been responsive to citizens' feedback through your platform so far?
Yes, but it's not a straightforward answer. You will recall that at a time when people cried out because of some mismanagement of funds in some government agencies, some ministers were removed, okay? Because the government was averse to corruption, The government, and is still averse to corruption. The government is doing, you see what is happening in Abuja today. Those people are now being encouraged to pay up all the rents, all the land rates, and all that. Do you understand? Because the government wants to make sure that laws are followed. And now I think with the situation right now, people are not even being forced again. People go on their own to pay up what it is that, and you can see also the level of work that is going on, even here in Abuja, that these monies are not being mismanaged, they are not being wasted, they are being plowed back into the system. Let me give you one instance. I come from Imo State. All the major roads in Imo State are in very, very good conditions. All the federal roads in Imo State. The road from Owerri to Umuahia is a single. You just need to can drive in the night from Owerri to Umuahia without your headlights. Okay, the road has been paved, properly dualized. The one that goes from Owerri to Olo, in 20 minutes you are in Olo. So the one that connects Imo with Abia is receiving very serious dualization attention, and that. So I think there is accountability, there's transparency, because we are seeing the funds where they are going. Okay, we can see the funds where they are going. Transparency and accountability issues come when there is funds, but there's no value. You are not saying anything. Then you begin to ask, where is this money? But if you ask me, where is it 1 naira you gave me, and I point to this and I say, this is where it is, and you see it, I mean, that is a high level of transparency.
Just like a follow-up to this issue of transparency, you know, when we talk about policy reforms, one thing that comes to mind is the impactfulness of these reforms. You know, some argue that much of the progress, you know, they argue that much of the progress that exists, it's more on the paper than a reality. Now, how do you verify or measure, you know, the actual impact of these reforms?
Now, the Citizens Project is a national project. Okay, we exist in about 640 local government areas in Imo State.
Okay.
And so we have people tracking indices. All over the country, we have people tracking indices, reform indices. Reports are coming every day from all nooks and crannies of the town. How did I know that you can buy rice in my community now for 70,000? Do you understand? People are all over the place ensuring that they have records. In this digital age right now, you cannot be telling people stories. Do you understand? There are statistics everywhere. There are things to measure. There are indices to measure. They are all available. There is nothing like the cock and bull stories no longer exist, because one, in this digital age, I will be here and I will tell you exactly what is happening through the internet, through the social media. Somebody will be telling you exactly what is happening in Imo State, and for real time. So in the Citizen Project, with our global or national presence, we are able to track exactly what is going on in almost all the 36 of the Federation at the same time. Real time tracking.
Now, we're talking about the government. Let's go to the citizens now.
Okay.
What role do you think should the citizens themselves play, you know, in strengthening governance and holding leaders accountable?
First of all, you will understand that if we don't have good followers, we won't have good leaders. Do you understand? Because it's a stretch, it's a continuum. You move from being a follower to become a leader, is it not? And so in Nigeria here, we have tried to encourage citizens to engage constructively, not engaging destructively. Engage constructively. If you say, if I give you 1 cup of water, you first of all thank me before you tell me that, you should have given me 2 cups, or I need a second one. But I need acknowledge that yes, I've given you 1 cup of water. And so when you say thank you for the cup of water you have given me, I will be encouraged to give you the second cup. So what we're doing in the Citizens Project is For us, we are not a political a party that is struggling for power. Do you understand? We are just doing a constructive analysis of what it is. Remember that today is different from what we had in 1999. In 1999, the entire world was ready to come to our rescue. Everybody wanted the change. Do you understand? But over time, situations got bad. And people started seeing only the negative aspects of the government. But today in Citizens Project, what we're doing is that let us at least identify those good things that has happened, put them down for record purposes, and as a resource document, so that next year somebody can say, I was part of this, this thing happened. Do you understand? So this government, what we're doing with this government is what I call constructive engagement.
Okay.
Where it is going back, we will say, please, yes, we know. And now, I just want to give you an example. If you're a driver, most people who will sit at the back will shout, driver, you are overspeeding. Driver, maybe for one reason or the other, there is a bump. They may not have known that if the driver did not enter into that bump, do you understand? He may have slided out of the road. Okay? So first of all, we try to make sure that people acknowledge that leadership is not easy. So because there are several options. There are several options open. And so when somebody takes a decision that will, at the end of the day, do you understand, favor you, make life easy for you, then you need to appreciate that. So that is our own approach at the Citizens Project. Today, the reforms are paying off. The reforms are really, really paying off. There is growth, both in our GDP, there is growth in both domestic product, there is growth in foreign reserves, there is growth in direct foreign investment, and our export has also increased because our prices now, with the unification of the foreign exchange, our products are becoming very competitive in the global market. So our exports are increasing. So more people are being engaged. Okay, a lot more people are being engaged than what it used to be before.
And before I let you go, if you were to summarize Tinubu's leadership so far, into a citizen's scorecard, what picture emerges?
Oh, I see a resilient leader. I see a man who knows where he is going to. The roads at the beginning may be rough, but he is focused at the end product, which will benefit both Tom, Dick, and Harry. And he has consistently followed that roadmap. And let me also say this. Any change that does not come with difficulty, any reform that does not come with difficulty, does not really last the test of time. You want to do agriculture for argument's sake, you must be able to go and look for land. Okay? And in the process of acquiring land will always be difficult because it will affect some people negatively.
Sure.
Okay? Some people might have to forfeit subsistence agricultural land they're using, you understand, for a general purpose. At the end of the day, he either gets employed, the children gets employed, and there is continuity. Okay, food comes cheap at very cheaper costs. So I see a government, I see a leader who is focused, who has continued to sustain those initial policies that people thought were negative, but because he has seen beyond me and you, that those at the end of the tunnel there is a light, he has consistently walked through that tunnel, and today we are seeing the light, the glimpse of the light.
That's great to know, Dr. Emeka Nwakwa. I really appreciate your time and insights on this issue. And once again, I want to welcome you to and I appreciate your time, with us on issues of the moment. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Well, This has been Issues of the Moment. We've explored governance under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu through the lens of performance, promises, and public accountability, with insights from Dr. Emeka Nwoko, who is the public opinion analyst and Southeast coordinator of the Citizens Project. As always, the story of governance is not only about what leaders promise or deliver, but also about how citizens engage, respond, and demand accountability. The future of Nigeria rests on that shared responsibility. Well, my name is Justin Bemunyi, and I thank you so much for joining us on the program today on this edition of the program. And this is where the program ends. I thank you so much for being with us. This is a goodbye.